something that's just trying to keep things right in front of us. This is amazing to me, and it's going on kind of quiet, but kind of below the radar, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
With the backdrop of what's happening with Coach Prime, and we know JSU and their success, and of course here locally with North Carolina Central, but the HBCU platform is just in football is just really taking off like it's never had before. We're getting so much attention. People buying up TV stations so they can start broadcasting HBCU games. I mean, that whole brand is just taking off. But what's really going a little unnoticed here early in the season is HBCU basketball. I'm talking about, and I guess it wasn't on my radar. I don't know. But we're gonna. Of course, our historically black HBCU footprint. We always focus on this. But do you realize they have something called the SWAC Pac-12 Legacy Series?
Pac-12.
Yes, where the SWAC teams go and play teams from the Pac-12, like Oregon, like Washington State, like UCLA, and all those schools, right?
Mm-hmm.
But here's the trick, though. Some of those schools, they come to the HBCU campus and play. They like those money games we're going out, right? And right now, the series is tied up. Shout out to Prairie View, A&M. I mean, I'm talking about. Let me get a couple of stats, man. Prairie View went up to Washington State and got them, 70-59. Matter of fact, Washington State actually came to Prairie View and got them. Grambling State knocked out Colorado this past Friday. Just think about that. Got them. Let's not just neglect the fact that Texas Southern showed up and beat Arizona State in Houston. Think about that. So this whole legacy series, we saw a little bit last year.
That's a good one right there.
We saw a little bit last year. I think somebody went to Howard. I can't remember what team went to Howard last year.
Notre Dame did.
Notre Dame was
Notre Dame
but that was of course Mike Bray and coach from Howard. They coached. Mike Bray coached him when he was at Duke. But let's not let this go. No. Without talking about it, this is a big deal. While the money games may be a bad deal. The money games may be going away.
Maybe I don't want to do that.
but what I love about the Pac-12, and by the way, the Pac-12 has a couple guys that associate with HBCU. I know UCLA AD for Fayetteville State and so on and so on. So anyway, so he knows about what's going on in HBCU land. But when you look at the landscape of these three teams, these three games where these teams actually came on the HBCU campus, that's the part that gets me. Because a lot of times you could never get a Power 5 to come on the HBCU campus. Never could do it.
I don't know. Were they ever invited?
Yeah. I think Coach Moulton tried to do a couple of things. But I think we'll start seeing a lot of these things going forward. But shout out to Grambling State so far, and, of course, Texas Southern. And Prairie View. Prairie View 3-0 this season. So don't sleep. Transfer portal could have some
you never know.
some player here.
The landscape is changing.
Changing. But when you look at that, I'm thinking like, damn, that's pretty cool. And we don't hear that much about it. Because back in the day, this would have been breaking news amongst the HBCU crowd. Like, man, you said what Texas Southern did? Man, Grambling beat out Oregon or whoever. That's a big deal. So and what do you think outside of transfer portal? Well, that could be a big contributor to it, but I just think that a lot of people are looking at coming to HBCUs now that typically may go to the majority of schools.
I think the transfer portal, and I think with the NIL being having an effect, it's allowing because really we talk about it all the time, right? All it takes on a basketball team is
maybe three.
Right,
yeah.
right.
Maybe three.
Hey, if you got two great ones, I think you're good.
You really good. You know what I mean? You know, all it takes is about three.
Yeah.
And you got to check. Like, I mean, look at the difference that Jarkel Joyner made over at NC State. Just look like a whole different team over there.
Right.
Those guys, somebody can shoot.
Right.
Change the landscape. HBCU teams, for the most part, they never really had size. Right. They didn't have a lot of size. They had a lot of small guards, right? But now they're recruiting, and they can get one or two big men to go along with some of those guards who have always been there. And guess what? You got yourself a team.
Got a team.
You got yourself a team, and it travels. And I always say that anyway. That even when we go through remember we talked about it one time with the NCAA. some of those teams that's in there, I used to always say to myself, I know it's a couple of HBCUs that can beat these guys. You know what I mean? You know, the South Dakota, New Mexico states.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some of these small teams, I'm thinking like, nah, I saw that Norfolk team this year.
Yeah.
I know they can beat that team. They should get a chance. At least they should get a nod, you know?
Yeah.
So it's always been parity like that. It's always been close. But I just think now with the addition of those one or two special players, the landscape is truly, truly changing. Same thing's happening in football. I mean, let's just be honest. Football that's some of these Power 5 teams no longer have the depth that they had before.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, and my team included, right?
Absolutely.
That's what's wrong with Alabama. We don't have the depth that we usually have.
Right.
You know what I mean? Usually we have 5 top, 5-star DBs. What we got 2 this year?
Yeah.
Or 1?
So the landscape is changing with the talent. The talent is being spread out to other places, non-traditional places back in the day. Yeah.
Right.
Now we need a little more coverage. Just a little more coverage. Come on.
But and it's funny, just to get a little insight to the Pac-12 SWAC Legacy Series. Is between the Pac-12 and the SWAC. It's the first of its kind pertaining to basketball scheduling amongst the Power 5 and HBCU conferences, which is they're going to be doing more. But also places crucial emphasis on raising awareness for anti-racism and social justice initiatives. So,
that's good.
I really like the message there that they're doing. And, just unfortunate that you bring your game because the HBCUs bring a game.
You can drop one now.
That's right.
You can drop one easy.
But I love the initiative. I think it should get more coverage. I guess I wasn't paying attention. So they played 3 games. Well, let me see. It's a 6-game series, and this is that was the 3rd game. But in 3 of the HBCUs won. So that's
good.
That's a good thing. So keep it up, man.
I just hope everybody associated understands the impact that this has. Protect the brand, grow the brand, continue to do what you're doing.
Right.
Hopefully, Dion bringing the energy
has
given everybody an opportunity to rise. Right.
Yeah.
Although they've been doing it for a while, but look, capitalize on it.
Right.
Because we always see those crazy scores, particularly in football and even basketball, where the lopsided scores when these HBCUs are playing these Power 5 schools, but no.
Hold up, not all of them.
This wasn't a lopsided score. It was Prairie View 70, and until they played like 59.
That's interesting, but we know enough alums on our social media and other places. I hadn't seen any of these guys put anything. So I'm looking at the alums now, the alumni.
Rep your school.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm looking at you side.
That's why I was surprised.
Versus throwing shade at Jack State on YouTube. I see that too.
Yeah.
Rep your school.
I haven't seen anything. That's why I said I want to talk about it more. But what caught my attention, the score last night, I can't remember who that was, but I was like, then I looked, I said, wait a minute. I remember somebody said Grambling State beat somebody. Then they said Texas Southern won. And Prairie View won last night. I said, wait a minute, hold up. What is going on with this?
Well,
and they beat Colorado and Arizona State and Oregon. Hell,